We should.
That's the head nod. That means we are live, but then we get the pause. Are we live, Johnny?
I believe we're live.
He believes we're live. We're going to roll as if we are. Welcome, Whisper Nation. It is 2021, and we're mock drafting already. You know how it goes. I am Austin Richard Sear, joined alongside the panel here. Big Travie, how are you doing, my man?
Doing pretty good, Austin. You know how it goes over here. We're just grinding away. January, it's never too early to have a too early mock draft, and that's what we're doing here. We're just, look, playoffs are still going. We're still feeling maybe reeling a little bit from last season, but over here at TFW, we don't sleep.
No,
we just go after it.
No, this is actually, just so the listeners know, this is a mock draft for the 2022 season. We're actually mock drafting for a year. Next one. This isn't actually for this upcoming season. We're just really getting ahead of it here. No, we are playing though, but I'm excited to do this mock draft. It's never too early. We've got a whole season behind us. Let's see how it shake out. Johnny Game Time Hicks, the man, the leader, the person who keeps it all going. Johnny, how are you doing at the start of the week, the start of the year? Happy Monday to you, my man.
Happy Monday. Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, man. I look like I'm in a dungeon right now because I was
going to say you look like Goosebumps or something.
Dude,
like you're about to tell us a ghost story.
Yeah, maybe this mock draft will be a ghost story. I don't know. No, I had moved some lighting around because my office is also our guest bedroom. So I took down my lighting like I normally have to make a little bit more room. And I whiffed on it before we went live.
What Johnny isn't saying is that he actually Airbnbs that guest room out, and the guest is there right now as he's going live. Is sleeping in there. So keep it down, Johnny. They're still there. They're still paying for that room.
That's true.
I love it. Oh my God. And great to have Whisper Nation here with us. Admiral Thrawn 1 just joined us in the live chat, as did Jay Bleezy. Jacob Bley, our number one fan, was already in the house. So a big shout out to Whisper Nation at large, and then a special shout out to Admiral Thrawn, Jay Bleezy, and Jacob Bley, who are here in our live mock draft room. If you want to join us, Whisper Nation, it's not too late. We'll be going for maybe another minute or so here, letting folks jump in. So on Twitter, on Facebook, the link to the sleeper room has been sent out. Go ahead and click on that. Join along here with me, Big Travie, and Game Time as we get the first mock draft ready to go.
Awesome. Big shout out to Jay Blizzy, the 2020 Whisper Nation Listener League champion.
Yeah. Way to go, man.
There in the 2 spot. So Jay Blizzy had a dominant team, really start to finish. Was one of the better teams. I think he had the regular season record too, and he really killed it.
The Fast and Furious moment when the very first race, and he's like, "Oh, I almost had you," to Dom. Brian says that to Dom. He's like, "Oh, I almost had you." Doesn't matter about
an inch or a mile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how I feel about Jay Bleezy's team, because I was playing against him. I had a very bad season. I thought I was going to get one of my few victories against him going into a Monday night. Thought it was locked. Told Big Travie, I was like, "Dude, I got my second win," and he end up coming back and winning. So that was my Fast and Furious moment.
I had a tough loss against Jay Blizzy too, man. That guy just had the edge this year. It was his season. Oh, yeah. You'd love to see him do it. Whisper Nation, we got 6 watching here. We got 5 thumbs up. That's pretty darn good. And remember, we are trying to be the kings of the mock draft in the 2021 season. We do our mock draft shows. We do the mock draft marathon. We are entirely unparalleled, but that's only because of you, Whisper Nation. And the way we get to that level is by folks joining alongside what we're doing. Macedonia has jumped into the sleeper room. Welcome. Excited to get this one going here. Anybody else who's listening, if you'd like to join the sleeper room, you can still do so. If you'd like to support the channel, please make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Allows us to start growing and getting ready for the upcoming 2021 season, which we are very stoked for. Well, boys, is there anything left? Should we hold back, or should we go ahead and get this mock draft started here?
I think we got a good room here. I'm good to go. I don't know.
Game Time. What's the rules on this mock draft?
I don't know. Like normally we fill up so we don't, and then we start. But it's all right. This is the very first mock draft. It's too early for mock draft, and some say, but not us. But yeah, we can go ahead and get started. You guys want to get it going?
Yeah, I want to tell listeners what kind of room this is. We got 12 teamers.
Oh yeah,
standard.
yeah, 12 team standard. league, we're doing 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, a kicker, and a defense, 6 bench spots, 6 quarterback points per passing touchdown.
Toltem rules?
Toltem rules.
That's our league record.
I figured I had the itch since, I lost in the championship. I want to get back at it. I want to try to I'm not happy. So I want to get back
let's
at
do it. Let's help Game Time get right on this when he lost in our Toltem League of Record Championship. We're going to run those same rules back on the first mock draft of the season. Anybody who wants to join last minute, now is the time to do so before Johnny hits the start draft button.
60 seconds per pick. All right. So,
60 seconds per pick.
All right, I'm going to start it.
We did full Toltem rules, 6-point touchdowns. Just want to confirm.
Yes, that is correct. All right, we are starting in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're beginning draft. Let's go.
So, guys, who's at the top of your mind right now? This is a new season. We really haven't talked about this too much.
Yeah.
It was CMC and then Saquon consensus 1-2. I don't think that's the same stack this year.
I know Saquon actually is probably going to come at a nice discount this year coming in, but we'll just have to see. Even with, I think back to years past, even with Zeke's troubles and stuff off the field, he still kind of stayed within that top 5 pretty consistently. So we'll just have to see how it even out. But I think early on drafts are going to have Saquon outside of the top 4 or 5, I would imagine. Still a first rounder, I would think, but we'll just see how that kind of shakes out.
I think it's a good one kind of to ask here as Whisper Nation starting the picks. Would you rather have, Johnny, would you rather have Josh Jacobs or Saquon Barkley?
Ooh. I think I'm going to go. I think I would. Oh, that's a tough one. As of this very date, because I don't know exactly how long it's going to be, Saquon might miss. Like, Saquon could very well miss, 4 games into the season. That's a big chunk of your season, right? And so if that's the case, I'm just gonna go based on what I know today. I would go Josh Jacobs over.
Guys, I hate to interrupt here, but do you see this? Sleepers got their pictures now next to their name.
Oh, this is unbelievable! Way to go! Hey,
update.
Can we get a golf clap for Sleeper here?
Some classy stuff here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
Just when you think they can't improve it again, they just go and they do things like this. I love it.
This is absolutely unbelievable. Oh, this is a steal. This is an utter steal already. This is way too early mock draft in January, and I'm telling you right now, this is an absolute steal of a pick that I'm about to make right here.
Nick Chubb.
Yep, Nick Chubb.
How did I know?
He should be. Honestly, I would pick him over Zeke. I think that Nick Chubb should be a top 4 pick next year.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think there's any evidence to say, other than injury, like Nick Chubb isn't going to dominate, especially in that offense. Stefanski loves running the football. I'm with you 100% on him being a top 5 pick.
I love Nick Chubb, man. It was so fun rooting for that guy.
The question is Nick Chubb or Saquon Barkley here. They're going back to back right here. This is about the realm I thought Saquon would kind of fall to. Would you be taking,
I'm taking Nick Chubb, and it's not even close right now, man.
I think so too.
Here's the thinking. Johnny's been right about Nick Chubb this whole time of talking of legitimately how excellent a running back Nick Chubb is. And that's the whole thing about Saquon Barkley. He's supposed to be the best running back in the world. But if Nick Chubb is low key, making a case for that, you already know it's a run first system. You already know they favor him. He's already shown you what he can do. It's pretty stacked. It's pretty good to go. Ooh, and I'm in that fun spot right now. There's a lot of wide receivers still.
Big Travie going Devonta Adams. You went all quiet when he was making that pick. Look at him over there.
How could I not pay a little homage, man?
Hey, don't get me wrong. I love Devonta Adams. Don't get me wrong. You try to make it all quiet.
18 touchdowns this year, Johnny, for Devonta Adams, and he missed 2 games. I mean, that guy is a monster. I think he's really stepped into his own. We've had a lot of good wide receivers in Green Bay. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. Whisper Nation knows that. We've had a lot of good receivers in Green Bay, but this seems to be the perfect marriage of Aaron Rodgers making a receiver great and that receiver also being really great himself, talent-wise. the work he puts in, and he just really only has eyes for Devonta Adams. I don't think that changes next year.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, you don't have to argue with me too much. I absolutely love Devonta Adams. Took him with my number 1 overall pick in Dynasty 2 years ago, and listen, I was not disappointed with that this past year. He carried me through a lot of games because, I mean, he would get 3 touchdowns. I should look this up.
It's a weird situation where Rodgers is legitimately forcing Devonta Adams the ball, but he's not forcing Devonta Adams the ball the way that oh my God, Jay Cutler would force Brandon Marshall the ball.
Or even Andy Dalton to AJ Green.
Yeah, or Jameis Winston to Mike Evans.
This is efficient force feeding. Yeah,
exactly.
Like he's going there because he's open. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen a situation like that where it's so in lockstep. Maybe like Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski.
Well, and I was thinking maybe you could even go like in Stafford and Calvin Johnson's heyday. You could say a little bit like that, but even that gets a little Andy Dalton-ish, a little AJ Green-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree with that. I like
almost like Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
Kind of, but even like better.
Yeah.
Before my era, but maybe Jerry Rice, Joe Montana kind of stuff over here, where it's just work. It's like the best quarterback, the best wide receiver, the best system.
And no knock ever.
The best.
No knock to yeah, none of them here.
No. Like the double stack there, Austin, you took.
I was thinking about taking Patrick Mahomes there, and I think in a real draft I would have done that. I would have gone the Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes stack, but I just kind of want to see what's going to happen with the quarterback situation right now in this first one.
Yeah,
Mahomes was tempting at 2-4 even right there for me. I was debating it.
I wanted Travis Kelce to slide so badly. I wanted Travis Kelce to slide to me in the second round.
That's a good point. It's a really good point that you brought up here. So just a quick rundown here. In the second round, we saw DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, CEH, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, George Kittle, Miles Sanders, Aaron Jones, Kenyon Drake, Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, Chris Carson. Round out the second round, getting started there with Kenny Golladay, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Melvin Gordon. I think it's a really good time right now to talk about some of the lessons that we learned in the early parts of the draft compared to last year. Travis, you had such great points talking about that running back fall off that you see around round 3 of don't be tempted to take some of these volume plays that maybe don't have the legs they once did, or it's almost fool's gold or a mirage that you're looking at. How are you looking at the draft right now in 2021, getting prepared for that? I saw you went.
Well, what we're missing here is a key piece is whatever rookie intake we have coming in. So I imagine we're going to be pushed down a little bit when we get into drafting in the fall. But yeah, we're getting into that murkiness. I was nodding my head in agreement when you were talking about that because we've got guys like Le'Veon Bell, Leonard Fournette, Mark Ingram, David Johnson, Todd Gurley still sitting here in that murky water. And I wouldn't take any of these guys at this position right now. I just would not be looking at any. And James Conner's even sitting here, and I wouldn't be taking him. I think there's just some things here that need to shake out, and that's just the process that we're going through of drafting this early.
Right.
So really, what I'm going to go for, try to go for is known commodities. But I think we'll see
Stephon Dix,
kind of shake out when the rookies get put in here too.
Johnny, I like that pick there. I was wondering, you've gone Nick Chubb, who I think was a sneaky elite running back that you picked up there. I think maybe the last one really with that elite ability, elite situation. George Kittle then, who on a per game basis was really a lot closer to Travis Kelce than folks really think that he was, dealing with all those injuries this season. And then Stephon Diggs, the wide receiver 1, on the board, the number 3 overall wide receiver last year. So you're kind of setting yourself up to be top 3 players there in the first 3 rounds, Johnny.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. I'm trying to see a feel of what was going on. I was looking, like, your guys' conversation was kind of going through my head as well when I was looking at those running backs. My initial thought was, hey, I'm going to grab a running back here in the 3rd round, but they were nasty. I mean, that I would highly, highly doubt that this will be even close to the running backs that you'll see in the 3rd round, even come, July. Which hang with us if you subscribe to the channel, because we will be doing mock drafts in July, so you'll see the difference between January and July. But yeah, seeing Stephon Diggs there in the 3rd round, this guy's probably going to end up going in the second round come around draft, season once it flares up. But I can only imagine their relationship is going to get even better. And it was already terrific. Like everything that I was doubting about that relationship, and trust me, I was way wrong about Stephon Dix. A lot of people called me out on Twitter and on the YouTube channel saying you were low on him. I agree. I didn't think that Josh Allen could make that jump. I've seen that jump by Josh Allen now, and I'm convinced Stephon Diggs can repeat that. The talent was always there. We never doubted the talent. It was just the quarterback situation. I think that's completely solved. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one there, right? It was such a tough one to read. If you needed a lot of things to happen, and they all did happen, and it's going to be exciting to see who this year's Stephon Diggs is going to be. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the people say like, oh, it's too early to start doing a mock draft, and I say it's never too early to become getting familiar with a subject matter. It's not saying that this is going to be who you're going to draft in 8.5 months. It's setting you up in a position to recognize the changes that happen and where an opportunity then comes forward. A guy who sounds really good right now could be totally worthless depending on what that team does in the offseason. But knowing now where they sit and being able to monitor where they change really helps set you up, separate you from the pack in the rest of your league. So this is not just an indulgent experience. This is good information to familiarize yourself with and keep pegs on it as it progresses throughout the season.
But it's also pretty indulgent.
Oh, because it's so fun, right? It's so good. It feels so good. I want to take a look at some of the other teams that are getting drafted here. Now we're halfway through the 4th round. We saw the 3rd round start off with Kenny Golladay, followed by A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Melvin Gordon, Chris Godwin, Adam Thielen. Johnny took Stephon Diggs. Leonard Fournette's gone. Big Travis picked up DK Metcalf. How did he fall that far?
I don't know.
That's a crazy one to me. That's good.
I wonder where that ADP is going to really be, because he did have, the whole offense as a whole kind of went down a little bit towards the end of last year. So I don't know that we'll get that kind of discount, but it'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
No, right. And then Amari Cooper, James Conner, David Montgomery in that 4th. This is a really good point too, Travis. The guys that you're catching as gems, pick up at the 6th round. You watch them go in the 2nd, 3rd round. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're like, how did that happen? It's like, that's okay. It's okay. There is always then somebody. There's more gems to be found if your gem becomes more common practice. But yeah, DK Metcalf. I'm looking at some of these ones who I expect to climb.
It's gonna get really funny because I'm looking, just scrolling and seeing some of these rankings right now.
Yeah,
on these guys, and I'm like,
who stands out?
Well, I mean, for one, you have. I don't want to say his name because I can maybe get him right here. I'm not going to say his name because he's going to absolutely be a 5th rounder, if not a 3rd rounder. We talked about guys who will alternate. I'll talk about him in just a second because if he lasts to me here, I will 100% grab him, and he'll definitely be. I would put my Charles Barkley guarantee that he will not be a. Oh, don't you say it.
Johnny's talking about Tevin Coleman here. That's his boy.
Yeah. Yep. Oh my God.
No, there's all kinds of gems, right? You got Mark Andrews, the tight end spot. You got Tyler Lockett, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, all really nice 5th round picks. Quarterbacks, we got Aaron Rodgers is still on the board. No, Johnny loves Cam Newton.
Hey, that was pretty funny.
I know he's gonna get his guy.
Hey, the computer just took your boy Tyler Lockett there for you.
Don't mind Tyler.
All right,
Lockett.
you guys ready for this? This guarantee he will not be in. He will be higher than where I'm gonna pick him right now in the 5th round. Come even July. You guys ready for this?
You can have Gesicki, dude.
Oh,
yeah, Antonio Gibson. Yeah, that's a good one. This is actually a really fun exercise in seeing which guys like, no freaking way is this actually going to happen.
I know.
You know that in what world does Mark Ingram go off the board a full round before James Robinson does?
Only in this make-believe upside down that we're in right now.
I don't know where that happens.
They can only update one thing at a time. All right, let's keep. They
would you
updated
take Kenny Golladay
the pictures
before DK Metcalf. I guess Admiral Thrawn would.
They took the pictures and updated those before they updated like data on drafting. We're drafting players.
I guess so, man.
We're helping them out. We're helping them collect data on what it should actually be.
Yeah, I think we're about to see a slew of these guys too that are just not going to be here in these rounds. Like Gibson,
just no
James
way.
Robinson, Cam Akers. I don't think will end up in this round either. I think he ends up a little bit higher. Yeah, there's some stuff brewing here.
Yeah,
I would be very happy with this team.
I would be extremely happy with this team. Says us in January 18th. How many times did we say that in July last year?
Oh, so many times. Yeah, easily.
Oh man, that would.
What do you guys think about Dak?
Oh, go ahead.
What do you guys think about Dak Prescott this year?
I mean, I just want him to get back in time. If he gets back in time, I love it. I love the
really
setup.
interesting to me.
Yeah,
he's got
and the
all
discount you'll
those
get him, the
weapons.
injury discount you'll get him at.
And especially if the Cowboys, grab a couple offensive linemen, because they'll probably go defense in this draft, and then you got to think offensive linemen because they don't need any more weapons, right? And so if they can improve that offensive line a little bit more, the only thing I would be concerned about is his mentality coming back. We saw that affect Carson Wentz. He went from MVP level season, and then the next year we were like, who is this guy? And we're still looking for him. So that would be my only hesitation. But Dak is super intriguing to me. Where would you take him?
I think I would need to take Dak as part of a 2-team stack, like as a 2-quarterback, rolling my dice rolls. And that's something I'm more interested in this year. I had done something in previous years that I was really proud of and kind of regressed away from it. I had taken quarterbacks in the first round, nearly a decade ago. Keep in mind, we play in a 6 points per touchdown pass league. And I had years back after Cam Newton was the MVP, he was arguably the number 1 quarterback off the board, and he fell to me deep in the second round. And I picked him up, and he had an awful year. And in that year, I committed to not taking a quarterback early again. And I stayed true to that for several years. But what I did to mitigate not grabbing a more likely quarterback was get 2 or 3 in my draft. And I remember one draft that took Alex Smith, Dak Prescott, and Kirk Cousins. And all 3 of them ended up hitting. And I'm just into more. I'm more into that.
You were trying to ask me for an arm and a leg for one when I didn't have a quarterback that year, and I tried trading with you.
People, it was crazy.
Johnny pulling receipts, dude.
Yeah,
Brett Johnson offered me Kamara for Alex Smith. That was the year Kamara broke out, but it was right before he broke out, and it was just right. And then he was like, "Oh, sorry, never mind," and he did something else with it.
That was when I whispered Alvin Kamara's name into Travis's ear that year.
I think it was actually.
Up in.
You were calling on. You were on him.
The problem was that he broke out after I traded him.
The problem was I didn't take
the
my
minute
own
I trade
advice.
Kamara away. They trade Adrian Peterson. I was like, well,
that's right.
This sucks.
I was like, well, how about when I traded Mark Ingram to you in that week for Jay Ajayi, and that week Adrian Peterson, the Saints let him go, and that worked out for you. I think took you to a championship.
Yeah.
Speaking of championship, I think the 6th round might have some players that people are going to be seeing in championship teams next year. 6th round started off with Aaron Rodgers, followed by DJ Moore, T.Y. Hilton, Ronald Jones, A.J. Green, Deshaun Watson going to Johnny. Raheem Mostert, Terry McLaurin to Jacob Bley. It's a good pick, of course. Robert Woods, DJ Chark, J.K. Dobbins, Brandon Cooks to close out that 6th round. 7th starting off with Cortland Sutton and T.J. Hawkinson. Yeah, these are really fun to start seeing these names that you're like, oh, this name's not going to be here in the 7th round. But just good to start seeing these guys that you're looking at. Any guys? Go ahead, Johnny.
I was hoping Kareem Hunt would fall to me here in the 7th. Yeah. That would have been nice.
I thought about taking him instead of Aaron Rodgers there in the 5th.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. Well, and Travis already has a quarterback too, so we can talk about this. Well, there's a couple interesting things. There's already been 6 quarterbacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Excuse me, 7 quarterbacks off the board through 6 rounds, and we draft with Whisper Nation's pretty good at drafting, and so I think we're starting to see a trend of where there's emerging quarterbacks again, where there's you have these specific tiers, the tiers of quarterbacks are coming back, which will be interesting to see evolve throughout this over the next couple of months. But one thing that was interesting, I I wasn't going to go Deshaun Watson. I was going to actually go with Justin Herbert, but I couldn't find him. It was so buried on here that so that's why I went Deshaun. And I only had like 10 seconds, so I was like, oh, I got to get a player. But I'm really interested in seeing where Justin Herbert goes. You guys, I want to talk to you guys. Where do you guys think Justin Herbert will go?
I think he's probably right after that middle tier for me. Like if you've got the elites, you got the Patrick Mahomes, probably 1-1. And then you got that next group of Kyler Murray's, Russell Wilson's, Lamar Jackson's. Maybe you want to put Josh Allen, maybe Aaron Rodgers if you're still believing in there. And then I'd put Justin Herbert right after that.
Yeah, so okay, Deshaun Watson or Justin Herbert, who are you going to go? Because I feel like that's where the tier is kind of like, that's where I'm like really interested in Herbert, right? Like,
yeah.
After though, as soon as I would put Rodgers, because it'll be interesting to see what they do with weapons, because I think we were talking about this before we went live. I do think the Packers could go and draft a wide receiver this year, which would be awesome. For this year's wide receivers are stacked again. So if Rodgers gets another weapon, I do think that, he would probably be in that same realm of these three guys. But how would you rank those guys, and where would you feel comfortable taking them? In the 6th round seems pretty comfortable for me. So I guess my bigger question is, how would you rank those three? Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, and Herbert, in January.
For me, it's that order.
Yeah, I think it's Rodgers, Watson, and there's so much uncertainty with Watson, but obviously he's got the rushing upside to get there. Rodgers is just not somebody. Look, Rodgers was somebody I think the industry as a whole, me specifically for sure, was wrong on coming into this year. Thinking, all the moves, when you try to rationalize coaching and GM moves, pointed to Rodgers maybe being a more conservative style approach, but they got exactly what they wanted out of the offense this year, and I think that's going to be continue to be the trend as long as Rodgers is there. They're going to continue to mind meld pretty well, and so health would be the only reason why I wouldn't be taking Aaron Rodgers ahead of those guys. And then Herbert's great. We've got to kind of factor in that he could potentially take a step back in a sophomore year. He doesn't run the football as much as some of these mobile guys. But yes, the supporting cast is there and the upside is there for Herbert, but he'd definitely be the third option for me of those three. I was looking at Will Fuller too.
I was between him and your boy, who I was taking, and I just don't think he'll come back around this way, so let's talk about it. But I think Zack Moss is a really, really nice running back pickup right here. Because that's, to me, the starting running back in Buffalo. Year 2.
I'm actually going to pivot to Johnny's.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to pivot to Johnny's boy here, because I think that Chase could step into a more dominant role if they end up parting ways. I'm just going to bank that they part ways with Drake.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's on the 1-year deal, so if that happens, I like me some Chase Edmonds here.
It'd be interesting to see if they draft a running back.
Well, isn't Eno Benjamin kind of a full? They like him, right? He's like a full-fledged back, right?
They seemed, or I thought they did, but then when it came time, he just remained on the practice squad. They never elevated him to the game. Even when Drake went down or Chase went down, it was the former Sun Devil actually that just kept coming in to relieve. So I don't know what that situation is. It'll be one that you definitely want to keep monitored for sure.
I'm not surprised if they do anything with the running back position. I'm not surprised they bring Drake back. I'm not surprised they let him go. I'm not surprised if they spend a high draft pick on one. I'm not surprised if they totally fade. That's kind of a tough situation. I'd be surprised if they spent a high volume pick or a high value pick on a running back, but it wouldn't shock me.
No. I don't think it'll be like a high draft pick, but I think like a third round running back, which I guess that could be kind of high for a running back, but I think that they might grab like a third rounder. There's like 10 pretty solid running backs in this rookie running back class coming out. So we'll see. It could be. I mean, they do like Chase. So I definitely do think there is a very big chance that Chase Edmonds is the lead running back this next year. And then maybe they do lean on Ito bring him up and lean on him as the new Chase kind of role. We'll see.
Lean on me.
Saw in that 8th round go Will Fuller, followed by Kerryon Johnson, Philip Lindsay, Chase Edmonds, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Matt Ryan, Sony Michel, Drew Brees, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and rounded out with Tevin Coleman. 9th round there started with Julian Edelman and Brandon Ayuk. Ooh, that's a sneaky one right there. I love that Brandon Ayuk.
Both Higgins and Ayuk were I mean, Blizzy is showing us why he was the listener league champ here. Back-to-back monster, really good picks there.
And just work your way up Jay Blizzy's draft. It looks nice.
Yeah, I'm really regretting not putting 2 minutes on each pick because I'm trying to cipher through like all these not good players, and then like you'll come across a name and you'll be like, oh, that guy should be way higher. And
right.
So it's and it comes when
but
it's
he's not.
Yeah.
So Josh A in the YouTube chat is actually Jay Blizzy. I didn't know he was. He's like, oh yeah, just letting you know that you whooped my butt in the listener league head to head. So I was the only one of us to beat him in the regular season, obviously not in the playoffs here. And then Jacob calling you out, Austin. Where's your running backs?
Oh, this is a lesson learned here. This is good. This is good.
Yeah.
Where's my running backs? I got David Montgomery, who's I think that's a name that's going to be climbing up the way we saw him finish. They should have brought in other running backs last 2 years. They haven't. This is the year they shouldn't actually bring in a new running back. God forbid, they probably will. But, as of now, they don't have one. So I think David Montgomery is a locked in your lineup running back. And what I'm going to be doing now is playing that game throughout the season. My wide receivers are stacked. Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, and Will Fuller. I got 2 of those guys on my bench. Like, I'm feeling very, very good about those. Aaron Rodgers and Evan Ingram, I'm feeling good about that too. I just need one other running back. Give me one of these, the J.K. Dobbins of last year's. Give me those kind of middle, the Ronald Joneses of last year's. And I just need one of those guys to work out come mid-season. And I think it's much more likely to find an actual running back. You can play a floor play running back at any point in the season right now. Like, grab yourself a guy who's getting 7 to 11 touches, probably 50 yards. Maybe he gets lucky and gets a touchdown.
Austin going with the modified 0 RB, essentially. We're going to take one, RB, and then kind of, like you said, get that floor play at the RB2. And you just stack a bunch of them, and who knows? Maybe you hit on 2 of those, and then your running back core is pretty legit. And what you get in the other positions really is just pop,
Exactly.
Especially in a standard league, we love having that main vein wide receiver in a standard league because it's just like it's essentially as valuable as having that running back too.
This is getting nasty here, boys.
It does get nasty though.
And
this is that time when those rookie running backs would be really nice to start.
Yeah, rookie running backs, rookie wide receivers.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that going through some of these names. Wish I had some depth here of actual other players because what's left is it's gross.
But there are people there.
It went from looking real, oh, these are great values, this is awesome, to, oh my gosh, there is a lot of nothing here now. And a lot of
just things we don't know yet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe maybe Tony Pollard's going to do something if we see more of a timeshare expectation coming in. Ezekiel Elliott has something that happens, but we don't know yet. Yeah. But there's no problem in starting to get familiar with what is on the table.
Well, yeah, definitely handcuffs are one of those things that starts to go right around here for sure.
Let's see here. We just got done with the 9th round here. Julian Edelman, Brandon Ayuk, Hunter Henry, Marvin Jones, Deontay Johnson. That's a name that'll climb. Matt Breida, Benny Snell, Jared Cook, Zack Moss. That'll climb too. Mecole Hardman, Emmanuel Sanders, Baker Mayfield. Started the 10th round out with Tony Pollard, Latavius Murray, Justin Tucker, Robbie Anderson, James White, Rashad Penny, Rob Gronkowski. Then we're doing kickers and defense in this, right?
Yeah, if you
want
to draft them. Yeah, I know, right? Now it's like, go ahead and pick up this defense.
I just want to say what's up to a couple people that popped in. Obviously, we had Jacob and Josh in here, but then Pranav Madula came in. What's up, Pranav? And then Gus Ramos. Hey, happy 2021. Happy 2021 to you, Gus. Guys, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a like, that thumbs up, help us boost this video. But then also just keep note, we're coming in next Monday. We're back at it with you again. We're Mock Draft Monday, and it's back up. We're rocking and rolling now.
Mock Draft Monday. And we saw Macedonia take the Washington football team defense first one off the board. It's a bold choice, Cotton. It's a bold choice.
See how it plays out for him.
I mean,
yeah, we'll see.
Well, we actually won't, because this is a hypothetical draft, so we'll never see how that works for you.
I mean, I like some of the other plays that they've done, so maybe they know something we don't.
Well, I mean, the Washington football team's defense is nasty.
It is pretty good. If they add more defensive weapons too, well, they got to get a quarterback.
It was Ron Rivera's first year, and I mean,
yeah,
look what they did. And do they? I mean, Alex Smith had a very, very significant winning record as a starting quarterback. I know it's Alex Smith.
He doesn't need it, dude. Just send him out there, dude. He's gonna get a robotic leg. He's gonna be like Luke Skywalker, who had an arm, but you know what I mean.
You know what I mean. You look at these quarterbacks. Go Justin Herbert, Ryan Tannehill by Jay Blizzy there in the 10th, 11th. That is a really nice deep stack coming in late here.
You know what? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Austin. But I just want I'm gonna take who I'm gonna say is going to be the new Gus Bus of 2021. I'm gonna call this January of 2021. The new Gus Bus of 2021 is gonna be Justice Hill. This guy, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him now. Because
we don't have to sleep on him.
Wasn't Justice Hill the old Gus Bus?
He's sleeping on himself, dude.
No, he was the rookie. He was we actually have a Justice Hill shout out.
We do
have
Justice
a Justice
Hill is a friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show. But here's
watch your mouth.
Hey, so here's my theory.
We're just lucky we kept him awake long enough to do that shout out.
I know, right? Here's my theory. My theory is that Gus Bus was this was his last year on his contract. I think that they'll let him go. And then you have Mark Ingram, who only has one more year, but they can cut him for minimal dead cap space. And they use two running. I think J.K. Dobbins will, of course, get the bulk of the carries there for Baltimore. But you saw them use kind of a two running back kind of system. And Justice Hill is talented. And he got some snaps when Dobbins.
I would hope
Ingram,
he's talented. He plays in the NFL.
Oh, unreal! Now you're gonna start hating on him.
I'm just like,
I'm calling my shot here on January 18th of 2021. That come January of 2022 on when we do our first too early mock draft. We'll be talking about Justice Hill as a nice little piece.
You'll excuse me if my enthusiasm isn't where yours is at for Justice Hill take. But, hey, man, I got to appreciate you putting content out there in January, getting the people the nuggets of wisdom that you have, Johnny. You are the man. I appreciate that.
Oh, I lost my time. You are the man. Jordan Howard is not the man, but he's the man on my team in the 12th round. That's who got taken. That ends up happening. I think I would have taken John Brown otherwise. So we're trying to figure out these pieces. But this is an interesting one, man. Like I'm curious of these late round flyers, but it's kind of hard to, with honesty, talk about these late round flyers because this isn't who we'd be considering at this point in the draft. Given there's no real offseason adjustments, there's no rookies that are a part of this mix yet. So it's not so accurate. But during the top of the draft, it's been really interesting here to, play a little 2020 hindsight, a little armchair quarterback right now, and looking at guys who are like, ooh, you know what? This actually guy deserves to take a jump up. And I'm looking at my stack here, and the big one to me, Jay Blizzy got him. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to be a running back who you're going to see climb into the first round. And you heard me. I'm not a Joe Mixon fan. To me, he's just like flavorless vanilla. It's fine if you want to mix it up with a bunch of brownies and cookies, but as on himself, I'm just not the biggest Joe Mixon fan. I would take Jonathan Taylor over Joe Mixon. I would rather have him.
Oh yeah,
and that's that.
I would rather have Jonathan Taylor than Josh Jacobs. Like I
Yeah.
honestly think it come later on in this year, it's going to be that's gonna the Nick Chubb to
That'll be the question. Maybe our first face-off right there. Actually, to be honest,
Jonathan Taylor
Jacobs.
or Saquon Barkley?
Oh man, I think I would take Saquon just for the fact that I think that you can bank on Saquon. If Saquon's healthy, the usage should be through the roof on him, just based on the fact that he is that they're so invested in him. Everything they've done, the draft capital, the money, it's all invested in Saquon. Whereas Taylor, look, Frank Reich's never been a guy to just have one guy dominate. And they're still going to have Nyheim Hines under contract. They're still going to love using Nyheim Hines in the red zone. So there are ways where the ceiling isn't the same for the two players. But yeah, I think that's a valid question to be talking about. Just the way that, Jonathan Taylor finished the year as the best running back, better than Derrick Henry, Montgomery in his last 5 games, last 5 weeks of the regular season. It was Jonathan Taylor. A lot of that's, backloaded in that Week 17 monster game he had against Jacksonville, but still, it's there was a lot of good there with Jonathan Taylor. Once he finally kind of hit past the rookie wall, started seeing the holes a little bit better, and this is a guy that I think still, up until the last week, only dropped 1 pass, had the best catch percentage of any running back in the league, and that was the big question coming into last year, was he going to be able to be a pass catcher? He'd never done it. So at Wisconsin, so he really answered a lot of questions for me.
I think it's a good breakdown there. I would agree with most of those pieces there too. I'm looking at other guys like David Montgomery. He's got to climb up. He's to me like the Chris Carson of last year, like a guy who's got some question marks, but really it's like, no, the numbers tell you that this should be good. The situation behind him says it should be good. You definitely are concerned because of the obvious points, but that's why you're going to get him after some of these other guys. But I'm curious about Dave Montgomery. I'm curious about Miles Sanders. I'm curious about Aaron Jones, what I shouldn't be. Like, Aaron Jones is Aaron Jones now.
Aaron Jones is so good.
Dude, I don't understand how this guy's still on the board. Steal of the draft right here.
Oh, my gosh.
Ridiculous, dude. Oh. Ridiculous how Rodrigo Blankenship falls to me in the 14th here.
That's not that ridiculous.
Respect the specs, dude. Unreal.
Do you like what we saw coming out of here? Oh, and it auto drafted on me. Sorry, guys, participating in here. But we saw, let's see, that 13th round, OJ Howard, Myles Gaskin. That could be a sneaky one. Myles Gaskin. That could be Jay Blizzy's on it. He's going to win the league and win the draft. Jared Goff, Alshon Jeffrey, Joe Burrow, Robbie Gould, Darnell Mooney, N'Keal Harry, 49ers defense by Travis, Tariq Cohen, Matt Prater, Timmy Fairbairn. Close out that 13th round. 2 more rounds to go as we're getting in here. And again, Whisper Nation, thank you so much for joining us. It's awesome to be here with you on this Monday afternoon. If you are part of the show and you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do us a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Helps us get off to the right start for 2021 and continue growing this content all season long, what we love to do alongside of you. We're going to be doing mock draft marathons marathon of 1 every single Monday, leading up to the mock draft marathon, which we have in August. 24 straight hours of mock drafting alongside industry professionals, Whisper Nation, our friends from elementary school, all that kinds of good stuff. I'd love to have you join us. We're just getting ready for the mock draft marathon.
Yeah, we might have a live henna tattoo being placed on a man's face for this mock draft marathon.
I'm so excited about that, Johnny. Tell us about that. What's happening?
Yeah, well, I'm glad I have you guys as witnesses, because Alex was trying to say that he won the bet, but I was like, no, dude, I beat you in the playoffs. So, yeah, he's supposed to get before the season last year on the mock draft marathon, we made a face henna tattoo bet that whoever would go further in the playoffs the loser would have to get a face henna tattoo. And Alex,
and it's not just.
I thought it was you had to get it. I thought it was weighted odds because you had the advantage because you're better at fantasy football, and he's like, you should do better than me, and he gave you odds. I thought.
Oh, we're gonna have to check the tape here.
Oh, we got it. Yeah. All right. Now I'm interested.
Because I thought it was like you had to get the baby on the face.
Yeah,
fake
all
baby
I
on the
remember is
face.
the content of the tattoo is superb. Because
then what are you saying he had to get? He didn't have to get a face henna tattoo, is what?
I don't remember if it was. I think it was just
No, I
like
think
a.
he
No,
did.
I would. No, he definitely did. 'Cause
That
I
was the
like,
whole thing.
I would not have done something where it's like, oh, you get a slap on the wrist and I get a.
Johnny's
face
one of those
tattoo.
guys that you make a bet with, and then when the bet comes around, he goes, "I don't remember making that bet."
That is not true.
I would never make that bet. You just get like bet amnesia.
No,
every time.
that's actually not true. There are some circumstances where I do forget. I just don't like the people that they'll like forget about or not
Hernandez
say
is
anything.
still
Like,
here?
tell me about the bet like before, like a couple weeks before, so at least I'm prepared. But it's like people will be like, "Oh, remember the bet like 5 years ago we made when I said on this moment that?" And I'm like, what? Makes no sense.
I don't know. I've never had a bet with Johnny that he's waffled on.
I always pay
He's-
up. I'm just
he's-
like, did this really happen or did it
Right.
not?
No, that's. I'm not saying you welch on the belt or on the bet completely, but the amnesia you get sometimes where we have to walk you back to the bet you made is always a little funny.
Hey, sometimes.
Boys, that is our first mock draft. It is in the bag. It's done. The rookie list mock draft here has been done. Guys, I'm so excited for the first mock draft we'll get to do when rookies have been drafted.
Oh, I
too,
know.
by the
That's
way.
gonna be exciting.
Oh yeah.
Just something to get excited about. But here
Well,
we've done it.
That's what I wanted to say. Like, just a caveat here. We usually say, especially if you're drafting this early, we don't draft a kicker and a defense. It was absolutely necessary to draft a kicker and a defense in this draft because we just didn't have those rookies in there.
We also usually do 13 rounds, and we don't have
Yeah,
kickers
that's
and
true.
defenses.
That is
This time we
true.
did 15 rounds
with kickers
with no
and
rookies.
Yeah.
With kickers and defenses. So it's a little 6s and 7s, but it's still good to explore all
It's
the
a
way
learning
through.
experience.
Isn't life?
life. What is life? Pain, mostly.
It is for my team. It was this year. That's the truth. But we want to go ahead and do
A lot
this.
of pain.
Whisper Nation, thank you again for this first full mock draft we've gotten done here. I think it'd be a good idea for Johnny, myself, and Game Time here to break our teams down, and then we'll go ahead and just take turns taking a look at the rest of Whisper Nation and do our famous draft grades coming in. Philly Chelsea's in the background laughing about our famous draft grades.
Yeah.
So she's excited about them.
Yeah.
She loves them.
Get her in on one of these.
Yeah,
we gotta
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we can laugh at her.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
And we can laugh at her draft grades.
Johnny, want to take us through your team here real quick?
All
What were
right.
you thinking? What you're doing?
Well, if you look behind
the
the
hell?
curtain here,
Johnny?
what you got is, took Nick Chubb. Really excited about Nick Chubb at the 1-7. And then I followed that up George Kittle. I'm really interested in the tight end position in general. I'm really excited to kind of dive into it a little bit more this offseason because there is a very big added component when you can land one of those top two wide receiver or top two tight ends or top three sometimes if they all score that much, but it's a huge advantage. Anyone who had Travis Kelce this year significantly outpaced any other tight end that he played. So that's a huge chip to play, and so I'm really
Well,
interested.
thank you for complimenting my team.
Yeah, I did want Travis Kelce, but then Travis took him, so I was like, oh well, I guess I'll go with George Kittle, which is that's not terrible. George Kittle's awesome as long as you stay healthy. All right, anyway, moving on. Stephon Diggs, we talked about him. I was excited for him in third. DeAndre Swift in the fourth. I do believe this is about where he'll go. Maybe he'll sneak up to the third come later on this year. Antonio Gibson, same story. I don't know if you'll be able to land both of those guys on a single team unless you're a little bit later on in this round. And then Deshaun Watson, we talked about that quarterback break. I wanted to grab someone, and I kind of panicked. I didn't know where Justin Herbert was, so I went Deshaun. This was the Devontae Parker pick here was pure speculation that Deshaun Watson would get traded to Miami. Looking at my crystal ball, and so I would have the nice little double dip there between Parker and Watson. I think that's going to be sweet. I'm just going to speak that into existence, okay? And this hypothetical team that we are now playing our fantasy leagues on. And then I grabbed CeeDee Lamb in the 8th because I love CeeDee Lamb. I think he's great. Then these are just speculative running back here. Benny Snell, Rashad Penny. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Chris Carson if they bring him back. If not, Rashad Penny could be a guy that will be one of those 7th or 8th round dart throws that could potentially help win leagues next year. Justice Hill, we already had discussion on him. Andy Isabella, depending on what Larry Fitzgerald and his retirement stuff, Andy Isabella could see a major uptick in targets next year. Darnell Mooney, same thing with the whole contract situation with Allen Robinson. Darnell Mooney looked good in his rookie year. And then Anthony McFarland in the 15th. That was to pair with Benny Snell. So kind of giving myself that backfield there.
John, I really like what you did here. I think like if you had taken Justin Herbert instead of Rashad Penny, I'd say this to me is like nearly perfect. On this one, I love your stack of Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson. All three of those guys could be top 5 halfbacks this year. Stephon Diggs, Devontae Parker, CeeDee Lamb. Not as strong, but still very, very strong. And then Deshaun Watson, we know what he's about. And then George Kittle, elite tight end. Like I just think you did a great job on this one. I would like to get that Justin Herbert to balance it out because he's got the same kind of upside.
Yeah.
And I think Rashad Penny's going to end up on the waiver wire pretty quick. But aside from that, like, nice.
Yeah, I think, I like your point there. And appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Big Travi, you want to tell us?
Yeah. So I've drafted from the 9 position. Usually this is around the time we've seen before where there's that cutoff for first round guys and then kind of what ifs. That, of course, happened here. Could have taken Jonathan Taylor there and been a little bit more ballsy, but we'll see how that ADP shakes out. I'm not comfortable taking it until it gets there, I suppose. And Devonta Adams, just a known commodity. That's what I'm going to go with here. That's kind of what I wanted to do with this way too early is just take known commodities, so I did that. Devonta Adams, Travis Kelce, DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson for the first 4 rounds. Really happy to get that double dip. Could swing things, especially we've seen in our league with the 6-point touchdown scoring. You want to have that pop with your quarterback. And I spent, maybe I'm a little burned because it's so recent to the end of this last year, but I spent a long time not getting that pop out of the quarterback position. So I wanted to make it right here. And then it was just about, not taking a running back for 4 rounds means I needed to kind of stack my odds at some lottery tickets. Took Cam Akers, who I believe will be the back. He started to really heat up at the end of last year. But then, after I took Ronald Jones, I took Darrell Henderson just to be safe, kind of lock up the running back field or the Rams backfield, which we know McVay loves to run the football. So I feel confident in getting a piece of that. Ronald Jones, who I think had a really good breakout season with everything stacked against him. He really did well this year and ran the ball well. That Fournette deal is a 1-year deal. I'm not so sure that they do bring Fournette back. They can. I'm not sure that they do. And so Ronald Jones made a lot of sense to me there. Chase Edmonds, similar to the Fournette take, Kenyon Drake could be gone out of Arizona very easily. 1-year deal that he signed last year. So Chase Edmonds could step into a monster role. And then Zack Moss as a guy, Whisper Nation knows I was hyped on coming into this year. Just didn't really happen for him. Rookie season. I think that Buffalo, if they're smart, yes, they want Josh Allen to throw it and huck it anywhere down the field, but they need to get a running game going. And they did not have one. They still don't this year, but they're getting it done on Allen's arm. I think rational coaching would say get Moss more involved next year, and so I imagine that happens. And then just some upside plays at wide receiver. Robbie Anderson obviously had some good connection with Teddy Bridgewater. I think that could continue. Second year together. Jerry Jeudy just kind of had the rookie drops this year. I think he gets right next year. No matter who the quarterback is, I think he could see really good volume there. They'll get Sutton back, should draw some of that. Keyshawn Vaughn, just a little bit of a dart throw there. If they do get rid of Fournette, maybe Vaughn's a good handcuff there or somebody that you could back up what I got going on with Ronald Jones. And then Salvon Ahmed there at the end there just as another dart throw. He ran pretty well when he got the opportunity in Miami, so another little dart throw there. Niners defense, just want to quickly, they should be healthy next year and back to kind of that dominant form. They were already pretty good this year, even with all the injuries. So,
Big Travi, I love here this running back stacks that you put together there. Like DK Metcalf and Devonta Adams should be really holding it down, and then you've got 2 or 3 running backs in this whole mix, and you didn't grab one until the 5th. So from that strategy, I think he just pulled it off really well. I think that's nice.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit. If you remember this year, you went like, 3rd through 7th, you were trying to go heavy wide receiver. I wanted to go like 5 through 9, go heavy running back, just to kind of, I got guys I think should hold it down, like you said, and then try to stack a bunch of guys that, could pop.
Yeah,
Austin,
I love that.
Tell me about what you did here. You started with that upside down there.
Yeah, I went with who I just thought was going to be the most voluminous, highest ceiling plays available. I considered Patrick Mahomes in the Tyreek Hill stack, but DeAndre Hopkins just showed us what he's about. I think he'll be even better next year. And Tyreek Hill, second year, he's been the number 1 wide receiver in his relatively short career. So I'd love those 1-2s right there. David Montgomery for a running back anchor. You're not taking him out of your starting lineup no matter what he does. And then I just started looking at, what type of players were available after that. And if there had been I wish I would have gone ahead and taken Antonio Gibson instead of Keenan Allen or Allen Robinson. I think he's one of those full ceiling type players who's only going to be better. So I would have done that. But Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, both really like the upside they bring. Happy with the Aaron Rodgers, Evan Ingram pick, as well as Will Fuller. Baker Mayfield, I just didn't see Justin Herbert down the mix. As Johnny said, he was so far down there, and just getting another guy who I thought could be startable and maybe take a jump. Justin Herbert, that would be the preferred choice. Tony Pollard, Ito Smith, and Jordan Howard, who was the auto pick. Just some dice roll running backs. This would be filled in by rookie running backs in a real draft here for these kinds of dice rolls, hoping to grab a decent RB2. But until that happens, here's where we are. Kyrie Fairbairn and Seattle Seahawks were auto picks too, but then the LA Rams defense was a top 3 defense. So feel good about that one. Oh, yeah. Moving forward.
How'd you get? Dang, that was a good one. I like what you did there. I think your wide receivers are like dynamite. I don't think there's anybody who has any comp to your wide receivers. Those are nasty.
Well, I appreciate that.
And we've talked about I tried to touch on it a little bit earlier. The value that people don't realize in those main veins for wide receivers, especially in standard. In PPR, I feel like you can have wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s make up for that if they're getting a lot of volume and catching the ball because they make up the points. In standard, if you have a Hopkins or a Hill, that will win you weeks. Bottom line. And we've seen that so many times in our league, but we still kind of go in, we kind of have amnesia with that, and we'll come into the draft and kind of forget that. But we've seen guys in our league of record in this format of point scoring draft wide receiver early, and it really benefits them when they do that, or early and often, I should say. I like what you did here in that murky area, that 3rd round where we don't have those rookie running backs yet. We don't really know what's going to happen. You took David Montgomery. You took that known commodity. Which, look, Austin, you and I were talking 8-9 weeks ago. Was David Montgomery good at football? We weren't sure, but
the opportunity was
when they committed to him and they went down the stretch. And now, yes, he had 6 cake matchups to end the year, but he produced well on those cake matchups and did what he was supposed to do. And you can't really fault a guy for doing what they're supposed to do. And if you get him to do what he's supposed to do with this lineup, you're looking nasty, especially Aaron Rodgers in the 6th. If that can just hold, I really like what you did here.
And then imagine,
at least through the first 8 rounds, I'm a big fan of how.
And then imagine if like a David Montgomery gets someone like a Deshaun Watson to come in, right, which helps. All of a sudden, that you can't stack the box as much. It definitely some interesting. I like David Montgomery. I think that was a good pick there. I think that that's right around where he'll go. And then you've got also Clement as the other thing. Will be his 2nd year, and so the blocking should continue to get better for him there.
They started committing to him committing.
True.
Committing,
to him.
yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
Nice.
I think, I like your depth there at wide receiver. And we've seen trades happen all the time where you can trade one of these key wide receivers because you got the wide receiver 1 in a lot of them. So yeah, I love it.
That's what they're aiming for. That's Whisper Nation. Let us know how you think about Travis, Johnny, and my rosters here. But we want to take a look now at the other teams. We've got 4 members of Whisper Nation here: Admiral Thrawn, Jay Blizzy, Macedona, and Jacob Bley here, who will go ahead and take a one run through the team and point out the strengths and the weaknesses here. Johnny, do you want to go ahead and start us off here?
Yeah. So we had Admiral Thrawn to Christian McCaffrey at 101. Not much you can argue about there. you could interchange. It'll be interesting, and we'll have plenty of conversations as to do you take CMC number 1 overall, or do you take somebody else like Dalvin Cook or Alvin Kamara or Derrick Henry? But I'm fine CMC. I don't have recency bias when it comes to CMC because I know how awesome he is when he plays. So like that. Chris Carson. This one's interesting to me just because we don't know if he's going to re-sign with Seattle or where he is going to resign. So that is a little bit of a risky pick as of right now. Same with Kenny G. He's a free agent. So will he be back in Detroit? Will he go to a better offense? It's a little shaky there. Cooper Kupp in the 4th. That's pretty decent. Todd Gurley. I'm scared of Todd Gurley. I don't think I'll have Todd Gurley on any of my boards. Brandon Cooks, Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton in the 7th. That's pretty nice there.
That's nice.
And then you've got Tevin Coleman, Julian, Christian Kirk, Harrison Butker, Royce Freeman, O.J. Howard, Daniel Jones, and Kansas City. Danny Dimes is their starting QB. Don't tell that to Big Travie. I would probably give this a C.
Yeah, I won't argue with you there.
Yeah, I can't really make a case for anything better than that.
Yeah, he did finish out an auto, so we don't need to spend too much time dissecting there. But let's move on to someone's team who is above a C. Josh A's Jay Blizzy, a.k.a. Whisper League Nation champ. Big Trav, you want to break it down for us?
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I've been trying to look at this, kind of anticipated you would ask me to break this down. I don't see a single hole in this roster. In fact, I think he dominated this draft, much like he dominated the league this year. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor back-to-back. But then if that wasn't good enough, you've got
just ban Jay Blizzy from this is unbelievable, this draft.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculously good. It's got upside, it's got depth, it's got everything you need. Even the quarterbacks. He's just a flex on us. He said, "Hey, I'll go ahead and get Herbert, but then also Tannehill." So I really don't have a weakness if Herbert falls off this year. Ayuk and T. Higgins, some of my favorite second-year wide receivers going into next year. Some of my favorite rookies this year. There was a period where Brandon Ayuk was one of the most dominant wide receivers in the game. But if you didn't like dominant rookies at wide receiver, then look away from this team because he got Justin Jefferson too up there in the 4th round. So I really love what he did here. He's got upside and depth, as I said. This is an A+, maybe one of the best I've seen.
Period.
In a mock draft, yeah,
it's because it's got that extra little shine to it. Because even on the somewhat toss-away positions, defense and kicker, he takes Jason Sanders, who was just dominating, and then he takes the Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Yeah,
this is fantastic. This is fantastic.
There's not a single hole. And look, Jacob Bley, number 1 fan, says James Robinson in the 5th is a banger. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not even counting on him to be your RB3.
I would have taken him over DeAndre Swift. I honestly thought James Robinson went in the 2nd. I was very shocked that James Robinson was taken in the 5th.
You're taking James Robinson over Leonard Fournette. You're probably taking him over Melvin Gordon.
He's gonna go he's gonna go right around where Miles Sanders is. Guarantee it.
Yeah, probably, or at least Chris Carson, 2nd, 3rd round.
Yeah.
Especially with Trevor Lawrence coming in. It's
gonna be so sweet. I'm so excited.
Urban Meyer.
I think the world is just gonna be a Jags fan next year. Like we're all just gonna be rooting for it. Yeah.
So let's see. If Jaguars fans, definitely. Are we fans of Macedona's team? Let's find out here. Macedonia takes Alvin Kamara with the 3rd overall spot. Nothing wrong there. Austin Eckler. That's a fun play style of running backs. Mike Evans as his first wide receiver. Darren Waller is his tight end. Josh Allen is his quarterback. You like to see that. DJ Chark, Jarvis Landry, Tyler Boyd. Those are 3 wide receivers to me that are all like nice ceilings, kind of scary floors. Weird things can happen, but you still like them. Hunter Henry, nice backup tight end, really good backup tight end. Washington football team, bold choice, but do you? Young Ho Koo, top kicker. Duke Johnson, Jared Goff, Willie Snead, Curtis Samuel, kind of just dice roll pick here. Pretty good. It strikes me B right away. Like I like the Austin Eckler pick. I would like Jonathan Taylor a little bit more. It's hard to go wrong with Mike Evans, but the shine of a Stephon Diggs or a DK Metcalf would have been nicer to me right there. Darren Waller, Josh Allen, got nothing negative to say there. DJ Shark, Jarvis Landry, Tyler Boyd is not bad, but it's just not as solid as it could be in this whole stack. I think it's a B for me.
I think I'd do a B plus.
Yeah.
I like.
Why do you have that difference there?
Because to me, Alvin Kamara could be the RB1 next year, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. And then you've got Austin Eckler. I think, as long as he stays healthy, like this guy was producing. And I mean, Darren Waller, if he was the tight end 2 next year or possibly tight end 1, we wouldn't be surprised. I like DJ Chark, Jarvis Landry, and Tyler Boyd. Those are all solid wide receiver 2s. And to me, like, if you gave me those 3, I mean, I had a lot of those options this year, and but I think with Trevor Lawrence coming in, DJ Chark, I think you'll see a big uptick. I don't think this is, I mean, the running backs are solid. The wide receivers are solid. Josh Allen as his quarterback. Like, we saw Josh Allen win games this year for people who had him on there. So I do believe that this would be a B+. I think it would be a B+ team.
Austin Eckler broke 15 points just one time last season. And I know he was in, but like
he was healthy for 3 games.
And well, he was healthy for more than that.
I mean, your comment was super accurate when you said I would rather have Jonathan Taylor than Austin Eckler. 100% agree with that. But I'm just saying, if I'm coming out of a draft,
you're not hating Austin Eckler.
I'm not hating Austin Eckler this year.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, and friend of the show, number 1 fan, Jacob Bley on our last one. John, you want to take us away here?
All right, I'll run it down. So he took Dalvin Cook with the first, Aaron Jones in the second, Chris Godwin in the third, and then took Kyler Murray, hometown guy, in the fourth, Odell Beckham in the fifth, Scary Terry in the sixth, Noah Fant in the seventh, Sony Michel in the eighth, Deontay Johnson in the ninth, which I really, really like, Henry Ruggs in the 10th, Alexander Madison in the 11th, Hayden Hurst in the 12th, Joe Burrow in the 13th. It'll be interesting to see where his rehab comes back. But backing up Kyler Murray as your backup quarterback, I think it's good. And A.J. Dillon in the 14th and Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 15th. I like this team. I think the running backs, if you're looking at it, Dalvin Cook, you get the handcuff there. With Alexander Madison, you have Aaron Jones. We talked about how good Aaron Jones is. So that combo of Dalvin Cook and Aaron Jones, I think, is fantastic. The wide receivers, Chris Godwin, we'll see what Tom Brady does. I just think there's so many mouths to feed with the Chris Godwin that I have my concerns there. And then OBJ coming back from a torn ACL, we'll know more further on. But I mean, I do like Scary. I think he's got really good wide receivers. I would probably go with the B+ with this one as well. Maybe no, he's got Dalvin Cook and Aaron. I'll go A- for this one.
I mean, we just have to see what happens with Aaron Jones. Not re-signed by the Packers yet. We don't know where he's going to be.
Yeah.
I hope that he comes back to Green Bay, but there's a possibility they don't re-sign him. OBJ, I know there's a lot of hope there, but we just haven't seen it happen. So I'm a little scared of these wide receivers. The wide receivers, honestly, Terry McLaurin is great. I think the talent's there. If the wide receivers hit for Jacob, then he's an A. But I think right now it's like a B-. I would agree that it's in the B area.
I'm leaning on the Travis side of this one. If those wide receivers hit, great. But I think there were choices available on the board that are more likely to hit with even more upside currently available. I'd rather have Stephon Diggs or DK Metcalf over Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
Flat out. I think Terry McLaurin is his best wide receiver, and it's his third one.
Yeah.
So, you got to get more upside for me from that point. Instead of taking Odell, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, even Tyler Lockett are still available.
I think Justin Jefferson is going to go way up. I won't be surprised if Justin Jefferson's in the third round.
Yeah, me neither. Amari Cooper, Justin Jefferson, it's a good conversation.
Yeah. Some of these were tricky, though, because, like, the rankings, like we said, were kind of, well, frankly, let's be honest, they were really misleading because some of these guys were so buried that it was hard to find them. But, yeah, I think I would agree with what you guys are saying.
But the whole thing is misleading because we're mock drafting in January. It is a great time, though. We're going to be doing it every single week, Whisper Nation. So you can join us. Catch our Twitter. Make sure you've followed us on Twitter as well to catch the links for Sleeper coming at you to join us live in our draft. You can always jump into the comments and join along with us that way. But we'd love to have you with us every Monday as we do this. Set up right now for what time are we doing this at, boys? 12 o'clock Pacific?
Yeah, 12 Pacific.
On Mondays, excuse me. So 12 o'clock Pacific. We will see you next time, Whisper Nation. I'm Austin Sear. Johnny, Travis, anything else to share with Whisper Nation?
Shout out to Plug with Jay from the Plug. He jumped in here, said that he saw that we were on and wanted to say hi. What's up, dude? Got to have you on the show again soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Love Jay. Love everybody that was in here. Jacob Bley, Josh A., everybody that made it in. Gus Bus, Pranav, all the people that stopped by. It's only going to keep going and getting better. Austin, as always, you hosted a great show. We appreciate you, my man.
Appreciate you.
Really excited to get going. We're going to post. I'm going to post the results through the first 6 rounds of the 3 of us here on Instagram. Hope everybody gets over there and votes on who they think took it down for the first 6.
I see. I didn't know we were doing a little competition, huh? All right. Prison rules, huh? Okay, I see.
Hopefully not.
All
right. I think that's it, man.
Whisper Nation.
Let's do this.
We're out.
Peace.
Peace.